What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel. In this video, we are going to preview the Kentucky Wildcats roster on NCAA Football 21, which of course is NCAA Football 14, but with the updated rosters for this upcoming 2020 season. If you'd like to get these rosters, get all of our roster updates, and much, much more, join us on Patreon. Link is down in the description of this video. We will continue to add more and more teams to this roster, and the more people that sign up and help support us on Patreon, the faster we will be able to complete these rosters and have them ready to go for the 2020 college football season. Before we get into the roster preview, just wanted to quickly tell you how all of you can help out with these rosters and help us to make them as accurate as possible. If there are number changes for players, if there are incorrect years that you see on this roster, please let us know. Some of these rosters we started doing back before even the spring rosters had been released, so some of the freshmen didn't have numbers yet, and we're just going to go back and do those later. Or maybe some players changed their numbers. Maybe a guy got redshirted last year and we missed that, and we've got him as a senior and actually they're a redshirt junior or something along those lines. So if you see any of that, you can help us out there. Also, players that are no longer on the roster, maybe players that transferred, that we had not taken off yet, you can remind us of those players, which of course I'm always checking the transfer portal. I'll come back and get that anyways, but it would just help out if something is put out there for us to make sure we don't miss it. A player that maybe has transferred, or a player that is not really expected to play much, not really on the two deep. If they're an upperclassman, we'll probably take those guys off the rosters and just tell us who you think they should be replaced with. Who do you think should be on this roster that is not? If it's a young player, a freshman, maybe they don't play, but they're still going to stay on the roster because you got to have those young players. The ratings are pretty much set, though. We have a specific formula that we use that's based off of a bunch of different numbers, stats. We use NFL Draft Scout for 40 times. If a player's not on there, we use their recruiting rating. A lot of different things. I'm not going to get into all of that, but those are pretty much set. You can make suggestions if you think a guy should go up or down if you'd like, but they're probably not going to change, at least until the depth charts come out, because at that point we will make some adjustments. We're not going to have a backup running back rated higher than a starting running back. Obviously that would make no sense, so there could be a little bit of adjustments there. Also, when the all-conference, all-American teams are announced, we may tweak some players in those cases as well, but for the most part it's all based off of this formula. Heights and weights, don't worry about that. We will come back and we will get all of those when the fall rosters are released, because those numbers can change anyway, so there's no point in trying to update that and then it changes again. So we'll knock that out once the fall rosters come out. But if you have any help here, if you guys follow your team closer than anyone. If this is your team, you probably know a little bit more about them than I do, and maybe you know some things that I just have missed or whatever. You can help us make these rosters as accurate as possible by giving us this information. I'll be constantly coming back and checking these comments. When I see something that jumps out, I'll make a note, and when I get back on that team, I will make the adjustments. And you will, again, have a chance to get these rosters, even if you don't join us on Patreon. Of course, if you join us on Patreon, you can get these rosters right now. You can get all the updates, and I really would encourage you to do that just to help us kind of speed up this process with a little bit of funding. But if you can't, that's fine. We will probably, more than likely, we're going to release these rosters once they're complete. So it may be August or whatever, but we will give them out for free at some point. And also, you can just help us to make sure our simulations are as accurate as possible as we begin to ramp those up as well. But if you have any information here, please feel free to comment down below and give us any updates that we need to make. All right, here are the top players for the Kentucky Wildcats. You see center Drake Jackson is a 96 overall. He is the best player on this team, one of the top offensive linemen in the SEC, one of the top centers probably in the country. Yes, Drake Jackson, 96 overall. Brandon Eccles, cornerback, 91. They got some talented players on this team. I think people still underestimate Kentucky, I should say. This is a talented team, and they're going to be pretty good this year. Landon Young, an 89 left tackle. You've got DeAndre Square, he's an 88. AJ Rose, 87. Terry Wilson, 86, coming back from that injury. Smokes, an 85. Oates, an 85. Porker, an 85. And Rodriguez, an 84. How about that? You look at their top players here. You got 3 running backs. this is one of the top running back stables in probably college football. Now, A.J. Rose is not probably a top 10 running back or anything like that, but you combine the three of them, and they've got a lot of talent in the backfield. And they got a good offensive line, and they got a dual threat quarterback. Kentucky's going to be able to run the football this year. Look at what they did last year with a wide receiver at quarterback. I mean, they were so good running the football. I think they're going to be good again, and then bring in a little bit more of the passing game with Terry Wilson. This offense has a chance to be pretty good. Here are the quarterbacks. You see Terry Wilson, he's an 86. Joey Gatewood, an 81. Don't think he's going to be eligible this year. If he is, maybe he pushes Wilson for some playing time. And then Sawyer Smith, he's a 78 overall. Nice backup to have in there. I talked about the running backs. Again, Rose, Smoke Rodriguez. You've also got Travis Tisdale. He's a 71 overall, redshirted last year. No fullbacks on the roster. Wide receivers, this is probably the biggest area of concern. You know, you lose Bowden last year. He was the he was the go-to guy when he played wide receiver. They didn't really have any go-to guys because they never threw the football once they made the change there. But here are the wide receivers. Here are their ratings again. Not great. Isaiah Epps is 79. Josh Ali is 78. You got Thomas is 75. Oliver 74. Daly 72. Hayes 71. Branham a 70. Alexander 70. Drennan 69. And Harris 69. So that's going to be interesting to see if one or two of these guys can really step up and improve their game. And again, these rosters are going to update during the season. So if some guys step up here at wide receiver, you're going to see their rating improve as well come this fall. Tight ends, you got Upshaw. He's an 80. Pretty good. Justin Riggs 77. Brendan Bates is 71. And not sure how to pronounce his name, but he's a 70 overall. Offensive line, again, a strength of this team. Landon Young is an 89. Nick Lewis 68. Left guard, you got Horsey 75. Adams a 72. There is Drake Jackson again at center, 96. And Quentin Wilson 73. Right guard, Fortner a 77. John Young a 72. And then Darian Kennard an 84. Watkins a 67. So three offensive linemen 84 or higher. Like I said, this is a pretty good offensive line for Kentucky. Going to the defensive side of the ball now. Justin Rogers is a 78, a defensive end. Anali is 73. Dawkins is 69. Right in, you got Hoskins an 80. And then Fitzgerald a 66. Looney a 66. Now we're going to the middle of the defensive line with Marquane McCall. He's an 82. Quentin Bohanna an 80. I think he has a chance to be a little bit of a breakout star this year. Watch for him. And then they've got Isaiah Gibson as well. So those are the defensive tackles. Linebacker, you got Jamar Watson at 83, Jared Casey 72, and KD McDaniel 71. Middle linebacker, DeAndre Square an 88. They're very good in the middle here. Chris Oates 85, Jamin Davis an 81, King a 69, Jackson a 68. I believe Kentucky plays a 3-4, so you're going to have two starting middle linebackers on the game using these rosters. So you'd see Square and Oates as the starting linebackers, along with Joshua Pascal. He's an 83. Another guy that I think has a chance to be a breakout star for this Kentucky defense. But again, the ratings we have now are really based off of what these players have done in the past. We're not going to project ahead too much. We can't just guess that a guy is going to be a lot better next year. I mean, that's just not the way it works. You can't have fair rosters if you do that. So keep that in mind. But Jordan Wright is 79. Peters is 76. Weaver 72. Bembry is 69. Cornerbacks, again, Eccles, very talented player. He's a 91. Asian an 82. Not sure if I said his name right. Tort Jr. 79. Devonshire 71. Geiger 69. Phillips 69. Brown 69 as well. So depth is not great for Kentucky, but their starters are pretty solid. Corker at free safety 85. Mosley 79. Dotson 70. Robinson, Devontae Robinson, I think he was injured last year. He's an 82. Douglas 72. Williams 72. Kicker is Chance Poor. He's a 75. And then Max Duffy at punter an 82. Kickers and punters ratings are probably going to change. I haven't fully completed the formula for those positions, so keep that in mind as well. And again, no spring practice, or not much spring practice this year, so players are changing positions, and you got a lot of things going on. I didn't really spend the time to do a bunch of research on that. because I'm just going to wait on the depth charts to come out from the preseason magazines or whatever, and we'll finalize these rosters with that. But if you know anything that needs to be corrected, any players that have changed positions, again, any number changes, maybe a guy that I have as a junior and he's actually a redshirt sophomore or something like that, because sometimes it's tough to figure out exactly what year the players are going to be if there has not been an official spring roster released. And some teams did release the full spring roster, some did not. So again, it can be tricky trying to get this done, especially under the circumstances, but we're going to try to put out the best roster we can. And if you guys help us out, we will be able to do that. But again, give us your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports YouTube channel.